Everybody's interested in homes, real estate value. Our featured guest today is recognized as a top 1% realtor in the United States, the recipient of the Phoenix Business Journal's Residential Real Estate Lifetime Achievement Award. He's a contributor to The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, those books, and he's a co-author of a soon-to-be-released book called Hold, How to Find, Buy, and Rent Houses for Wealth. Please welcome Mr. Steve Chater, owner of Keller Williams Integrity First Realty. Come on up, Steve. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thanks.
Click in. There you go.
Get hooked up. I don't have any props.
Get hooked up. That's all right. We've got water if you need it. You're a tall drink of water, my friend.
Yes, I am. 6'6".
6'6". Now, I don't know if you know this. There's a band around Mesa called 6'6".
Yeah, that's named after my son and I. I'm the bass player. He's the drummer.
Oh, that's awesome. And,
yeah.
You're both. You look like a drummer.
You know, no, he's the drummer. I'm the bass player.
Okay. Well, you should switch that because you look like a drummer.
Yeah.
It's too early in the morning for me, people. Well, that's cool. So you're in a band. You don't look like a typical, I don't think, band guy when I think of realtor.
Well, I have hair, but it's not long anymore.
Oh, so you just decided to start a band.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, cool. Well, let's get right to the matter. We're all interested in what's going on in the real estate market. You know, you hear these stories from all around the country, but it seems to me like when you talk about real estate, you ought to look in your own backyard. What's happening in Baltimore, Maryland doesn't really talk about the market here.
Yeah.
What's the Mesa market like? What's the Arizona market doing?
The Arizona market is it's actually a unique market. I've been doing this for 35 years and have never seen it the way it is right now. It's actually a seller's market. In the past 3 months, the average sales price, or the average price per square foot on properties has gone up 15%. And so interestingly, people that sold their house in January are looking and saying, gosh, I could add equity if I had sold it right now. So it's a seller's market.
Wow.
But it's also a buyer's market because we've never seen interest rates at 3.5% to 4% before. And so the sales prices, what's happened in Phoenix that didn't happen in the other areas was our prices got pushed way down. And we call it the coiled spring effect. The harder you push down that spring, the faster it comes back up. And so that's what we've been seeing is our prices went down so far below the replacement cost for rebuilding houses that they're coming up really quickly right now. Now, that's starting to level off is what it looks like this past month. But I'm not expecting we're going to continue to see 5% every month.
Well, we've even got some graphs here to show kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So, and the interest rates right now, what if somebody's looking, if somebody hasn't refinanced and they're still in that 6% range,
right,
they should smack themselves upside the head.
Absolutely. And with the new HARP program that's out right now, people that are actually upside down owe more against their house than what it's worth. Some of them can still qualify to go ahead and refinance, even though they may owe more than what the property is worth. We've never seen this before.
Well, I know it's volatile, but what's today's rate? What can you do a 15-year fixed conventional loan?
I'm not sure on 15 years. It's probably around 3%.
Wow. That's
probably
awesome.
Around 3%. So that makes it a buyer's market. At the same time, prices are coming up, and people that didn't think that they had equity in their house, if they're listening to the national news still talks about a shadow inventory, and they're saying there's a whole bunch of foreclosures that are coming on the market, and when those come on the market, they're going to affect us. That is not true in Maricopa County. There is no shadow inventory in Maricopa County. In fact, the reason I put that chart up there is if you look at the top line on the chart, the average price per square foot for a normal transaction, that's a sale between a buyer and a seller with no bank involved, in Maricopa County right now is at $127 a square foot. You can see it going up. You can also see that the short sales and the REO properties, the prices have come together. So we used to think that the short sales sold for a higher price than the REOs. Those prices are coming together, but it's becoming a very small part of our marketplace. In fact, almost 8 out of 10 of the houses that are currently on the market don't have a bank involved. They're not a short sale and they're not an REO.
Wow. Well, I know and there's a lot of inventory out there. And Mesa, how does Mesa stack up against other cities in the valley?
You know, Mesa stacks up very well, very affordable as far as sales prices are concerned. The biggest challenge that people are having right now is it's hard to find a house. About, was it 3 years ago, we had about 60,000 houses on the market. Right now in Maricopa County, I think we have about 12,000. And so if you've got a property and it's in good condition and it's well priced, you'll get multiple offers on the property. It feels like it did in 2005. Lots of buyers chasing a very limited amount of good properties right now.
Well, my wife, we had a hard time finding a home because my wife had certain parameters. She wanted a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, no kitchen.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
Those are hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You had to remodel for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there you go. Well, cool. So if somebody's sitting home right now and they're thinking, maybe I should get out of the rental market and buy something, what should they do besides call Keller Williams?
Well, that'd be a good first step, right? You know, honestly, it's really important to get involved. It's also important, if you're thinking about buying right now, to know that it's not going to be an easy process. And you have to be prepared for the fact that you may have to make an offer on 2 or 3 or 4 properties before you actually get one. And in many cases, the properties are selling for more than the asking price right now. So the buyer that thinks they've got last year's news that says, it's a great market and I can buy it for less, that's not happening.
I know there's a big influx of Canadian buyers.
Yeah, you know what? I put a chart up here on where the Canadian buyers are. And that's part of the reason why our market is different than many of the other places, because the Canadian buyers, if you look at this little map, the East Valley, there are tons and tons of people from Canada that own real estate here in the Phoenix area, and specifically in the East Valley, Scottsdale, Mesa, all the way down to the Queen Creek area. In my neighborhood, and I live in a small neighborhood, there's only 16 houses in my neighborhood, and 4 of them are owned by Canadians as a second home.
Wow. It's tough because you need a translator to talk to those guys.
Hey?
So you, as a Canadian, they're allowed to come and buy real estate here. Can they use that goofy-looking money, or do they?
Yeah, well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. They call it a loonie. As a matter of fact, their money has been worth more than traditionally it has been because our dollar's been depressed, and so people from Canada are coming, buying investment property here, buying in retirement properties here, and they're not the only ones. They're coming from Australia and South America and South Africa, and so Phoenix has been a place where people from all over the world are coming and investing in properties. And if you'll go ahead and show that next slide, that's where a huge opportunity is happening. And my business partner, Janice Doty, she was the one who was holding the turnout for Forrest. We are coming out with a book about what is the best way to go about being an investor and holding and buying real estate for hold. But if you look at this chart here, that says that almost 1 out of 3 sales in Phoenix area is sold to somebody who's not going to live in the house.
Wow. 1 out of 3.
1 out of 3. And so if you look at how fast, that's the little red line that you see going up there. That's the percentage of sales that are going to landlords. So what do the smart investors know? We've got a market here where people have had to go through short sales and foreclosures, so right now they can't qualify to buy a house, yet these are homeowners that have families, have kids, they want them in a good school district, they want them in a good house, they want to maintain their lifestyle, and they can't afford to, or they can't qualify, they can afford, they can't qualify to buy a house. We have the best pool of renters that we've ever had before. Sure. And we have lots of them, and they won't be able to qualify for a number of years. Prices are low, interest rates are low, rents are very high, and the vacancy factor for single-family homes and rentals is almost nil. If it's in good condition and it's priced right, it'll rent before the next person gets out, or for the first person gets out.
Wow, that's very cool.
So we see a huge opportunity in this marketplace here. If you listen to the national news, you don't hear it. If you know what's going on here in Phoenix, it's like, now's the time to get in.
Well, you know, is it still true they always say that more real estate has created more millionaires in this country than any other industry?
That's true. That's exactly
So now's the time to buy and hold. Boy, that'd be a good title for a book.
You think? I'm going to take that suggestion and run with it.
Good for you. When's that coming out?
It comes out the end of September.
Well, good for you. That's awesome. You know what? We got a couple of minutes, and we got a live studio audience, and I can see some people that might have it. Anybody got a question real quick for Steve? There's one right here. Yes, sir.
I do have a question. Is it common practice now to waive
I don't. The question, so that everybody can hear it, is it common practice to waive the appraisal? And yes, about almost 1 out of 2 sales were cash sales. This is 2 months ago. I don't know what happened last month. But 47% of the sales were cash sales. And the people with the cash, they're not worried about. See, the appraiser always looks into the past, and the appraiser has to say what's happening. Well, if the trend's going up, the appraisers are always behind the trend. So the cash buyers are coming in and saying, I'll give you this much for your house, and I'll waive the appraisal that's automatically written into the contract. That's what makes it a seller's market. The seller can get more for the market than the last guy did, and it just keeps ratcheting up. Not everybody can do that. If you have to get a new mortgage, you will either have to add cash to the mortgage, so the mortgage would still be whatever the appraisal allows it to be, and you'd have to add cash to it, or you can't buy that house. Makes it really difficult for first-time home buyers right now getting into this market, because that's the same market that the investors want to be in.
That's a great question.
Yes, it is.
You know, real estate's so popular on HGTV and all these channels. The problem with that is people think that you can decide and buy and close on a house in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But they did it on TV. Yeah.
Last night on the Discovery Channel, there was the premiere show called Property Wars. And it's about these guys going down to the auction and bidding on the houses. And so one of our local realtors for Red Brick Realty, Doug Hopkins, is one of the stars of the show. And so it's an interesting show to see the dynamic of how all these people are trying to get those foreclosed properties, and we have so few of them now. Our REO stands for real estate owned. It's what most people call repos. And the repo market, the notice of trustee sales, that's down way below what it was last year, continuing to trend down in our market.
Well, it's good to hear everything's on the upswing. I never have good luck in real estate. It seems like every time I buy into a neighborhood, shortly thereafter, the values go down in that neighborhood.
All you need is a good realtor.
Maybe it's me. Well, thank you very much. We really appreciate you stopping by.
It's my pleasure.
Hang on, we're going to wrap up today's show. Before we wrap it up, any other questions for, yes, one more question. Yes, Craig.
We still have 2 houses in our neighborhood that haven't sold, haven't been listed, that a bank is holding. Is there a lot of that shadow? I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but there's still some that aren't on the market.
There are some that are. So the question is, we've got houses in our neighborhood that have been sitting vacant for quite a while, and they still haven't been listed, and they still haven't sold, and we believe the bank is holding on to them. Do you know for certain that the bank actually has them? Okay, call the bank. So there may be problems with them getting title. There may be problems with them getting the correct loan documents, because loan documents, we could have all of the bank inventory just come on all at once, and it would be sold in a matter of 2 weeks here. So when you see property, they're not sitting on it. They want to get rid of it. They want to get rid of it. So there's some sort of a problem that they can't put it up and sell it yet.
Well, Steve, thank you very much. Looks like our inquisitive audience is satisfied with all your answers. We all want to get rich, so we're all going to buy a house from you. How would that be?
That sounds great.
All right, cool. Well, thanks so much for coming by. We'd like to thank everybody. Once again, we'd like to thank our hosts for today's Mesa Morning Live. Nice round of applause for Crescent Crown. Also, we'd like to thank Alpha Graphics. If you look in front of you, everybody's got a program, and Alpha Graphics is doing that fabulous job. If you've got any business printing needs or anything else that Alpha Graphics does, they always do a super job, so make sure you check with them. Next month, we're going to have more information as it comes available. Check out the website, and we're back here next month. Yes, we are. We're back at Crescent Crown. Why wouldn't we be? This is a fabulous place. And if you're watching this on Channel 11 and you want to know a little bit more about it, go on the website for Crescent Crown. They do make this available for other events too. Don't forget, anytime you want to know what's going on with Mesa Morning Live, you can check that out online. We really appreciate you being here. Tell a friend. We've got quite a good turnout for today, and considering the weather. If everybody brings a couple of people, we'll pack this place. And you know what? I saw this online the other day, and I thought it was kind of a good closing. What am I doing? A closing thought. What am I, Jerry Springer? But I thought this was pretty good. It said, don't confuse having less with being less, or having more with being more, or what you have is what you are. Just remember that. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Go out and make it a great day, and we'll see you next time at Mesa Morning Live.